Angela Babcock. I'm an entrepreneur, impact advisor, and a ukulelist. It's amazing how such a small instrument can really speak to you.
"36 for 36 is brought to you by The Late Night Experiment with Motown Maurice. Subscribe today on YouTube.
When my divorce was final, I decided that I wanted to buy myself a present. So I went to the Guitar Center in Hollywood and bought a ukulele. And I'd gotten a lot of advice from friends on which kind of ukulele to purchase, but one friend told me just pick them up and see which one feels right. So I tried out a few different ukuleles and I kept going back to the one that I ended up buying because it felt right. It just felt like my ukulele, that we had some sort of connection. So I purchased it and I took it home and I didn't play it for a month. I ended up just kind of looking at it and looking at the chord charts, not really knowing what to do with it, and feeling a little intimidated because I hadn't played a musical instrument since I was a little girl playing piano, 5 years old. So about a month later, the Guitar Center offered some free classes for customers, and I went in with 3 or 4 other new ukulele purchasers, and the guy just basically let us have fun strumming. And once I figured out that I didn't really need to do anything very tricky, or it didn't have to be perfect, it didn't have to be professional, it was just to have fun, I started to really embrace the ukulele and it became my instrument. It's hard to explain it because it's kind of a connection. The sound is coming from here, but you know, this little tiny thing is making a connection. Just relaxing. And it's especially when I'm by myself playing, it takes me to another place because no one's listening. It's nice to just, and if you want to get a little darker, you can play some of the darker chords, or you can play a little bit of a happier chord, and it can just go with what you're feeling. I started to learn a few songs from Ingrid Michaelson and even Elvis Presley, and it was time for me to take it to the next level because it was in my living room and I needed to go somewhere else. A friend of mine had seen that when I posted on Facebook that I purchased this ukulele, and he said, you should come to our club. It's the Plucking Strummers, and they meet in a church in Atwater Village every other Saturday. So I went out to the Plucking Strummers. I found a seat in the back. There were like 25 people there, and we all played songs together. I met one of my very best friends there who's a really expert ukulelist. And at the end of the session, they have 30 minutes where people can just get up and practice their songs practice performing in front of the group. So I had my song that I had written. It was my first song and still my only song that I'd written. But I got up in front of the group and I was terrified. I had my little ukulele, my hands were frozen and my mouth dried out and I was shaking and my heart was racing faster than I'd ever felt it before. And I started to strum and I screwed up and they're like, it's okay, keep going. And they were so supportive. And so I played my song, and when I finished, I was so relieved, and I walked back to my seat and 2 women in the back were crying because of the song. And it was then that I realized how important it is and how powerful it is to be able to play a song that comes from your heart, that is from your own experience, and sharing that with other people. The pink toothbrushes, spoon in the blue, the one I bought for you. Its bristles are all dry now, but that doesn't mean we're through. After I learned a few chords and a few songs and wrote my own song, it was time to take it to the next level by going to open mic nights. A friend of mine that I met in the club encouraged me to go with her. So my first open mic night was at a tiny little coffee shop. And there was this terrible comic who got up and his jokes bombed, except for we all laughed because, you know, that's the kind of crowd it was. So I got up and I sang my song, And I realized that I needed a bigger set because, sometimes you need to sing more than one song at an open mic night. And so I went back home and started to learn a few more songs, and it really has become my therapy. So as I prepare my set for these open mic nights, I'm also doing a little bit of therapy on myself, because there's something that happens when you pick up the instrument and you strum the chords and you're singing the song that takes you away from the stress of life, and it takes you in another place that just lets you get in touch with yourself and brings down the blood pressure and just makes everything feel better.
'Cause I love the way you call me baby, and you take me the way I am.
I have one goal and two dreams. My goal is to write more songs. I have a lot of ideas in my head. I have a lot of poetry that could be turned into songs, and get that onto a CD and be able to share that with people. I also would love to meet Ingrid Michaelson. I've seen her in concert a couple of times. She is my inspiration. I named my ukulele after her, and I like to sing her songs. I'd love to someday just be able to sit down and jam with her on our ukuleles. And my other dream would be to not just be at an open mic, but to actually be scheduled at a venue and my name be on the calendar to sing at Hotel Cafe, Second Stage, or someplace like that. I made my web series debut on the Late Night Experiment with Motown Maurice, season 4. It was a lot of fun playing the lead juror. I got to make the verdict that, gave him his fate for the future, but also helped him decide what he was going to do in life. And it was a really fun experience being a part of that group. There's such a fun cast, and the material we were working with was excellent, and it was just a really fun experience, and I'm really proud of being a part of it. If you're watching this, I have a little advice for you. You need to watch The Late Night Experiment. It is epic storytelling. It's exciting. You're gonna see action and drama and really heartfelt stories. And it's the future of late night. And don't you want to be a part of the future?
Take a glimpse into Motown Maurice's future with 6 seasons, 36 episodes, plus 6 behind-the-scenes documentaries of The Late Night Experiment. Subscribe and like us today.